Perhaps there has never been a greater roll of the political dice in American history than the one facing Republicans tonight. The GOP establishment still flailing about trying to figure out how to stop Donald Trump, the man who would be president and who has no trouble threatening a punch in the face to those who don't agree with his way of thinking. Now, President Obama continues his farewell tour seeking to make good on his promise to close Guantanamo. The right and security experts are punching back. So are people from states who may see terrorists whiling away their time smack dab in the homeland. The Libertarian Party is not entirely out of this presidential race, but we have a simple question. Seeing as Rand Paul was dispatched, why should anyone take them seriously? From what makes Nevada voters tick to Hillary Clinton obviously using experience to get ready for her next gig. Spin the big prize wheel. Never leave it all to Lady Luck. I'm Ed Berliner. This is The Hardline for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2016.
We're going to win. Oh, are we going to win? You're going to get so tired of winning.
We have to take our message to people that don't vote for us now. To people that have been told for over 2 decades that Republicans and conservatives don't care about people like them.
The men and women standing in this parking lot can change the outcome of the Nevada caucuses.
Nevada, third stop on the GOP train to Cleveland and another likely win for Donald Trump. Our special coverage of the caucus results begins at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Newsmax, where one of the top issues will be the latest panic from a GOP that believes the next logical step in stopping the Donald is to clear out those who have no chance of winning and focus on the real candidates. Get it down to 3, or better yet, 2 left standing. But those 2, they want out, shows zero sign of caring what anybody else wants. So grab the bones, get to work with the veteran White House reporter, political editor for LifeZette.com, and the man in control at WhiteHouseDossier.com, Keith Koffler, joined by the Christian commentator, columnist for Patheos, and author of Femmevangelical, the modern girl's guide to the good news, Reverend Jennifer Crumpton. I want to thank you both for being here. We got a lot to talk about. Short time. Let's get right to it. Keith, let me start with you. The GOP, according to Politico, has said to John Kasich, get out. The longer you stay, the worse it is. Marco Rubio's the guy. You're going to cost us this election. Do you agree?
Yeah, he could be a real big problem. The thing is, though, Kasich wants to stay in for a couple of reasons. First of all, we've uncovered that some of the Bush donors are actually looking at Kasich because Kasich is a governor, and there's some of the Bush money may end up going to Kasich because they feel he's more similar to Bush than Rubio. And, of course, among the Florida people, there's some resentment that Rubio was in the first place. So he's counting on some money. What he's really counting on is surviving Super Tuesday and getting to the Ohio primary, his state, and Michigan eventually. Minnesota is a Super Tuesday state. He's hoping to do well in the Midwest. He's not ready to leave yet. He seems to be having a good time. But listen, if he does really poorly in Nevada, the pressure will increase on him, but he can be very stubborn. Those of us who've covered him in Congress know that, and he may very well stay in, and it does hurt Marco Rubio.
He wants to stick around at least until he gets around to Ohio. Some of those other states thinking that he may be able to make some noise. We'll talk about that in a moment. Jennifer, here's something else from the evangelical side as well, because Ben Carson is the other guy that people are talking about. They're telling John Kasich to get out. We've talked to Ben Carson's people and said, look, you've not done well. Your message is not getting across. Evangelicals are not even pulling for you when it comes down. Now, Facebook loves him, but the people who get into the caucuses and the polls, they don't really care so much. So is it also time then for Ben Carson to say, I tried, I'm out?
Yeah, I think it's about that time. I think he lost a lot of people at the stabbing. Some people have you at hello. He lost people at the stabbing story. I think ever since then, he's really lost momentum. People couldn't quite understand what he was trying to get across. And of course, Donald Trump pounced on that, questioning his ethics and his sanity, even, as Donald Trump is wont to do. But in this case, it actually made a little sense. But the people have spoken, and he's not doing well in the caucuses, and I think it's about time for him to slide on out.
All right, now you brought up the word ethics here, and I'm going to get this to both of you because I know that the Donald Trump supporters, they are going to watch this show and they're going to swear that we are anti-Trump. They do it every single time, but we are looking at both sides of the issue here because, look, if you're a presidential candidate, you got to be tough. You got to be able to take the tough questions, and you got to be able to answer them. So that's all we're asking for right here. Jennifer, I stay with you. Donald Trump when you go to one of his rallies, it is a party, it is a show, it is drama, it is entertainment. He continues to tell people every single thing they want to hear. They love him. Jennifer, is it just time for people to realize he is inevitable? Whether Ben Carson gets out, John Kasich gets out, Rubio, Cruz, anybody, this is the guy. Or are we all overestimating people?
I think we have been overestimating people. I find it confounding that people respond to rallies that are just full of gossip, just sort of babbling about what people are doing and what he thinks about people, which is never good. Evangelicals are famously values voters, but I think what we're starting to see is that their values really have nothing to do with their faith or their religious training or beliefs, and definitely it all works out to be the antithesis of what Jesus is actually all about and taught. So I'm a little concerned that the evangelical base is sliding into a different realm of what they expect out of candidates. They're taking violence, they're taking bullying, they're taking a candidate who actually knows nothing about the Bible, and when he was asked what his favorite Bible verse was, he couldn't even think of one. For some reason, people seem to believe every single thing that comes out of this guy's mouth, and I'm not sure what kind of culture we're really transitioning into here in our country.
Well, Keith, let me get to you from the reporting side of that, from the evangelical vote, who, let's be quite frank, it shocked everybody coming out of South Carolina. According to Edison Research, the national election pool, evangelicals chose Donald Trump over Marco Rubio, 21%, Ted Cruz, 26%, and these are guys who call their Christian background their guidepost. What does it tell us then when even the evangelical vote, which, by the way, is a quarter of the U.S. electorate, many of them believe that Donald Trump's the guy? Keith?
I think she has a good point. It surprises me and it surprised a lot of people. But I think that what is happening is that there are a lot of evangelicals, despite their faith and beliefs, I don't think that they have fallen for the idea that Donald Trump is some kind of born-again Christian. But a lot of them are suffering out there. A lot of them are very frustrated with there being too much immigration in this country. With the number of illegal immigrants who are here. They're frustrated with the economy. They're frustrated with these budget deficits, and they feel that something is really wrong in this country. And even evangelicals, I think, have decided that a strong hand, someone who will really stand up to Democrats in Congress, who will really take strong positions, is what's needed now. And so I think that explains part of the reason why a lot of them have gone for Trump, just like a lot of other people.
Isn't that what we're seeing here, Keith? And Jennifer, I want you to answer this as well. But Keith, to you first, that the evangelicals, these people have a deep-rooted belief in their faith, but they also have a deep-rooted belief in earth and what is happening here on a day-to-day basis with paychecks, with children, with jobs, with everything else. That is taking precedence with these people, yes?
It is. Evangelicals have the same concerns as everybody else on a day-to-day basis. And one thing about evangelicals is that they really love this country. And they see this country in great danger. And they're just not sure that another moderate Republican, someone that maybe doesn't have the strength of a person like Donald Trump, even, Rubio, who doesn't, who wilts under firing from Christie, that these are the type of people that can save this country.
Well, Jennifer, the words great danger come in there, and let's be honest. I've spoken to a lot of the evangelicals, people who believe in God, and they say, I've got a real problem with where this country is going right now. They don't talk about God first. They talk about this country. Doesn't that say something about them? And I mean, they are still very devout, but they want this country to be fixed first before they worry so much about their faith. Is there anything wrong with that?
Well, I think we have to put it all in context. I think a lot of evangelicals are more worried about social issues and things like gay marriage and abortion and women's right to choose. Look, we're in a time of job growth. Obama brought us back from a huge recession. Things are going well. Look, I don't understand why they think that somebody who's gone bankrupt 4 times is going to be the guy to make everything better. A guy who can only talk about himself and his own wealth and has quoted 3 different figures for his own personal net worth. Why do we think we can trust a guy who lies as much as he does?
Well, let me just bring this up, Jennifer, if I might. And what you're saying is all exactly true. I mean, it can be proven. But wait a minute. Every politician promises every single time he or she steps out. They tell us everything wonderful we're going to do. We're going to make it rain. We're going to bring you everything you need. So why should we disbelieve Donald Trump any more than anybody else, Jennifer?
Well, they are all about equal in their ability to believe them or not believe them at this point. I think that the GOP race has unfortunately devolved into a circus. But I think, Donald Trump doesn't even have any real policies that he's putting forward. When you get in front of a camera and all you do is gossip and bully and name calling other people, I'm not sure why that elicits confidence from evangelicals or anyone who's struggling in the country. A lot of people are worried about a lot of different things. LGBTQ people are worried about getting their marriage licenses as they legally have a right to do. They're worried about housing and jobs and getting fired.
I think what we need to do in this, Jennifer, is realize that this is a lot deeper than just putting faith and a vote and saying that this is the way you're going to go. I only got 30 seconds to you, Keith. Ted Cruz fired his longtime campaign spokesman. Again, this comes up over notes and negative things said about the Bible. Did he make a mistake in firing this guy? Maybe he should have just let it slide under the board and not make a big deal out of it?
I know. I think he had to fire him. I mean, imagine if he did not fire him. It's easy to say now that maybe he was throwing him under the bus. And you know what? That's the message of the Rubio people, is that there's something generically wrong with Ted Cruz and that he shouldn't have done this. But if he didn't fire this guy, everybody would be up in arms and calling for Rick's head. So he made the right move on that, but it does reflect a problem in that campaign, in that he has given a lot of openings for people to say that there's a false narrative going on there.
And we're going to find out some tonight as well. Jennifer, Crumpton, Keith Koffler, always a pleasure to have you both on the show. Thanks so much for being here. We'll talk again. What we have just spoken about, what do you think? Because frankly, we're trying to give you both sides of things. You're going to talk to us about it, and you're also going to watch us tonight beginning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time when we bring you our special Nevada caucus results. It's only right here on Newsmax, and the Hardline continues.